Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're going to be going through more fat acceptance cringe compilations. So, that's what we're doing, and it's going to be great. I'm excited. I'm excited and delighted by the prospect. Let's do it.
I was eating a lot of junk food and drinking at least a bottle of liquor every day. And this is me now, and I still do all that shit. Gang, gang, bitch.
I'm not gonna lie, my people, I'm not one to talk on the basis of drinky pops. I've been on a bender lately, I won't lie. I really need to tone it down, but it's been my vacation, sort of. It's a really long story, and it's hard to explain, and eventually I'll go off about it, but right now I just need to deal with my life. Sorry, I don't mean to be a girl and spill all the tea yet. I don't mean to be, like, super tea spill, but I am dramatic, and I am Italian, so it compounds it, and yada yada. And saying that, I'm thinking of going to Barcelona Wine Bar tonight. If you've never been, check it out. They're great. It's a good restaurant. I like it. They've got good food. They got cheap drinks, tapas. If you like wine, I'd say it's a good one. But yeah, anyways, continuing on. Continuing to feed bad habits forever. 'Tis life. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this. It's just like, okay, do your thing. I don't know.
People's biggest fear is being fat. And I'm sorry, but if your worst fear is looking like—
Bro, I'm sorry. My worst fear is not being fat, by the way. My worst fear is wearing this. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm sure she's a wonderful person, or whatever the fuck we can say about this. But, oh my god. I'm sorry, but this fit is not a vibe. 1, I hate pink. 2, I hate jeans. 3, I hate open jeans. Flower crowns are reserved, in my opinion, for the dead, or pixies, or, oh god, the pixies, where's my mind? Where's my mind right now? Oh my god, but anyways, the bra, the shirt doesn't, come on, man. Come on, bro. This is, like, ridiculous. There are so many fat women who look beautiful in some of these compilations, by the way. They have the vibe, they have the fit, they look fantastic. This, I'm so sorry, this is not a fit. This is not a fit. It doesn't fit, but it's not a fit.
like me, you have some bigger problems in your life. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Stop.
This has to be a fetish, right? Like, we're not being serious about this, right? Like, it's a joke, or I'm sorry, I'm discombobulated. It's a joke, or it's to be, like, really, like, provocative, or, like, capture people's eyes, or to be, like, fetishy. It comes off as really fetishy. I'm sorry, I don't even know. I do not know what's going on. I'm sorry. I'm fucking ruined by this.
I'm sorry, but
Oh, this is a comment that says, as someone who used to be fat, yes, one of my biggest fears is being fat again. I like being able to do everything 10 times easier. And that is true. Being morbidly obese or severely fat, puts a lot of pressure on your joints, makes you slower, makes things more laborious when they don't need to be. It is harder being fatter. When I've been heavier, I've struggled more, and I haven't even been, like, morbidly obese. So I can't imagine what it's like. But yeah, it is harder to be fatter. But I also have to say, commendably, the person who's making this comment is saying, like, I lost this weight. I used to be fat. So they went through the labor, the effort, and had the drive to get down to that smaller body weight and stay there. So the amount of work really ascribes a level of value to how you don't want to go back to being that person that you were before. There's self-development in this, and you don't want to regress. You always want to progress. So it makes sense why that would be, like, somebody's biggest fear. But good on that person for commenting if they're actually, like, they went on a weight loss journey and they've kept the weight off and they've really worked on themselves, because that does take a lot of work. So it's pretty commendable.
Fat people are kind of the worst. Like, great for you. You lost weight. You did what you wanted to do for yourself, hopefully. Why do you have to bring other people down, though? I'm telling.
I mean, it's so ironic because these people are just asking. They're baiting for people to make comments on them. It's like for all of these people who are, like, throwing these comments out, they're just baiting for people to make these kinds of comments to them. So I don't understand. It's like they're doing it to themselves. And also, people do have the right to think that that's their worst fear, and also think that being morbidly obese or obese is bad because it can kill you faster. So I think people do have the right to fear obesity for all that it entails. And the fact that it makes this person over here feel bad really shows where they might be. Maybe as a result, they're, like, looking in on themselves and kind of feeling like they can't do what this person successfully did, and it makes them feel bad. That's what I think. But you know what? Like, there are worse things, in my opinion, than being fat. There are certain experiences that are significantly worse. But in a general sense, people do have the right to fear that, and also think very negatively of that because it has so many negative connotations. And if it brings you down, facts over feelings, bro. Like, I don't know what to say.
You right now, I'm learning FatPhobic will help you. We are all fatphobic to some degree, including myself. I find myself thinking things that I should not be thinking because society ingrained fat phobia so deeply that it's just normal and we don't blink an eye.
I'm sorry, my dudes. The fact that we're saying everything is fat phobic, even like not wanting to be severely overweight and die early or have everything be more difficult for yourself, saying those kinds of things is fat phobic really shows where the fat acceptance movement might be going. And I think that it's easier to look at a person for their accomplishments than their body weight. But when you have people who are constantly proclaiming that they're being discriminated against for being fat, or there's fat phobia all over the world and that they're even fat phobic, it really shows where they're at mentally, and it's just not a good place. I think people should have a little more self-respect than that, and also ascribe value to other things in their lives and focus more on their accomplishments in like a different way. And the fact that somebody is saying like, I don't want to be morbidly obese again, or I don't want to be overweight again because I lost all this weight and I don't want things to be harder for me unnecessarily. The fact that somebody's saying that and it comes off as fat phobic to somebody else, it's just so silly. It's just so silly. I'm sorry that I'm acting so rambly and discombobulated, but hearing this kind of stuff literally puts me through a ringer. It's like, why are we even arguing about this kind of stuff? Also, it's like, you can be fat phobic and not be mean to fat people, so I don't understand, dude. Like, you can actually have a fear of being fat and not look badly at somebody who is fat. I think they're kind of missing the point here, because if somebody personally does not want to be fat, that is their life decision, and they should have the right to feel that way and not want that for themselves. The fat phobia thing, I think, would come if you're really poorly treating somebody on the basis of them being fat. So I think they're two different things here. I mean, can you imagine this? Say there's somebody who like wants to be lean and doesn't want to be like jacked. They just want to be lean. Well, what are they? Like muscle phobic? Like bodybuilding phobic? Like on the basis of aesthetic, you can make this argument literally like on everything. You can be like, oh my God. You can literally have somebody who's got a head of hair, and you could say like that them having a head of hair and not wanting to be bald is bald phobic or balding phobic. And it's the same thing for people who don't want to have their hair in their face like me. What are you, swoop phobic? Like, dude, you can say anything. It's just aesthetic. It's like physical form. It's subjective. Like, you can literally say somebody who is not a natural blonde is brunette phobic or black-haired phobic. Like, you can just throw anything out there. Like, this is silly goose pops mode, my people. This doesn't make any sense. The phobia thing is just silly. Nobody's afraid of you for being fat, and most people don't actually care about what you personally do as an individual. They care if they have that happen to themselves because they don't want to live that way. So, I'm sorry, this is just so ridiculous. I'm sorry I'm going off, but it's just silly. When trying to act normal when the obese family walk by my table.
Bro, this shit fucking hurt.
Yeah, I have to point that out. That's kind of like a dick move. Like, why would you make a video saying that? It's so like, I don't know, man. That comment there is actually kind of a jerk thing to say, and I wonder how many people actually think this way, because I would never consider that if somebody, like, unless they bump into me or, like, you know, say something to me or you know, do anything to me physically or verbally or whatever, I wouldn't acknowledge them. This is kind of cringe, particularly because this girl is like making a TikTok for it. I'm sorry I'm cringing out, bro.
Bro, this shit fucking hurt. It always hurts me when I see a black person being fat phobic. It just crushes me. Especially because one of the origins of fat phobia was literally racism. Prior to the Atlantic slave trade, Europeans actually found plushy, chubby to fat women extremely desirable and as a sign of health, whereas people who were thinner were sick and weird, specifically ugly. But during the Atlantic slave trade, many Europeans realized that many African enslaved folk shared similar proportionate chubby to fat sizes that they considered desirable, specifically black women. So in a desperate attempt to essentially perpetuate racial inferiority, they decided to just switch up the whole narrative and use science to back it up. This is what I mean when I say it's...
I'm so confused by that. I'm so sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Listen, I'm not even from America, so I don't know anything about slavery. I don't know about the race stuff with fat phobia, dude.
It's never been about health. Also, I'm reading this book called Fearing the Black Body, where Sabrina Strings goes into detail about this, using multiple historical references. It's really good. I beg, please stop with the fat phobia.
Tell me if you want me to get that book and we'll read it together. It'll be kind of a vibe. It'll be kind of interesting. Maybe we can break it down and actually like look into it and learn a little something while we cringe. I would definitely like to actually read that book, but maybe I should read a history book first. I don't know. Stop silencing fat creators for wearing the same thing that thin people wear. It's fat phobic. And then this person says, go to a gym. I mean, that's kind of rude. I don't know. I probably wouldn't tell somebody who's fat to go to the gym. I only tell myself to go and I don't even do it. And I literally have no excuses because I rock a free gym membership right now, so I'm terrible. But regarding this, I think that as long as it fits and you don't see too much of the tits, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want, wear whatever you want, and tell everybody else to go fuck themselves. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, man, the dancing around is like a little too much, but impressive that she kept everything on the top in that bra while she was doing her little dance, you know? This would probably be a fun girl to hang out with, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, man, she seems kind of like a vibe. I'm not trying to be weird and a simp, but personality-wise, I think I could vibe with this. So this comment is, so is obesity healthy?
Oh, looks like the health police came to party. Yeah, let's talk about what is considered obesity in the first place. So the guidelines that we use to decide whether someone is, quote, obese or not.
The BMI was originally called Quetelet Index? Quetelet? Quetelet? I don't know how to say that. And went on to be used to justify social eugenics. Oh, when it comes to this, BMI is a spectrum. It's a little subjective. You can actually be obese as a bodybuilder and be jacked. You know, BMI, it's not always the best indicator of, you know, health. Really isn't actually. You can be any weight and be very unhealthy. But when it comes to being obese and morbidly obese and super morbidly obese and being insanely overweight, there are health complications to that, and I don't think we really need BMI to figure that out. I think we can just, you know, tell when somebody has joint issues, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, blood pressure issues, heart issues, diabetes, pre-diabetes, and it's just harder for them to live their lives. I think we can kind of tell it's not healthy, even if we aren't using BMI. But yeah, generally speaking, BMI is pretty ineffective for like diagnosing people's like health and stuff like that, as well as seeing like what weights are actually healthy. You know, it's not quite on point. So I can agree with that a little bit.
It's actually based off a system that was originally created to justify social eugenics. Not only that, they found that once health problems started to arise, not even all the time, the person's BMI had to be out of 40.
When they wanted to use it for health purposes, they found that health conditions didn't even start until their BMI was 40. And that wasn't a guarantee. So I think BMI, it's anything above 25 to 30 is overweight, and then 30 is obese, and then I think 40 plus is morbidly obese. But yeah, obese is still not healthy usually. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my people, I've been obese before, but morbidly obese, 40 plus BMI, I think we all can agree, bypassing BMI, that's a pretty unhealthy range. I'd say anything that's over like, I don't know, 50 pounds overweight, you're probably gonna have maybe some issues starting to arise, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea what is going to most affect you on the basis of BMI and what weight's gonna destroy you. It's all dependent on a series of variables from, you know, caloric intake, food intake, genetics, water, alcohol, smoking, whatever. It's all gonna depend on so many variables. But at the same time, I think that being, you know, pretty obese, pretty up there, it's not healthy.
Regardless of that piece of information that actually only applied for just the white people, that didn't even take into account how none of their research actually was accurate for Black people or people of color, they still decided to set the BMI standard of obesity at 30. What? That makes no sense, except it does. Why? Because the people backing this research were the only two pharmaceutical companies that had the only two weight loss drugs on the market. So essentially they needed to scare people into thinking that they were at risk for health conditions when really they weren't. Also,
but anyways, yeah, I don't think that it's accurate. I don't think 40 is accurate. I think that probably should be lower, but maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
Also, people in the overweight and quote obese category statistically live longer than those in the normal and underweight. The more you know.
Why do I not believe that? I don't know. I wish they could give me like a study or like link some meta-analyses or something so we can just look at them. But I'm pretty sure if I just Google it, I'll probably find the opposite. I don't know. Anyways, that's the video, my people. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about the other? What do you think? What do you think about this entire video? Am I wrong? Am I right? You don't need to feed my ego, definitely judge away. And I have to ask, what do you think about this chick who was judging people at the restaurant? Tell me what you think in the comments below, and yeah, that was it. So, yeah. Anyways, that was the video. Tell me what you think, and it has been lovely. I will see you next time. Slater.